Hello and welcome to SOCIOLines. Today we are going to start a new series on sociology. This series is designed and developed to explore various dimensions related to sociology, that is, to cover sociology as a discipline in general and to cover the syllabus of sociology for various competitive exams in particular. In this video, we are going to discuss various fundamentals related to this discipline, sociology, what its nature is, what its scope is. But before we begin, let me briefly tell you about what sociology, what SOCIOLines is actually intending to do in the upcoming series. So, we will start firstly with basics. We will study various concepts, terminologies related to sociology. We will come to theories and many more aspects related to it. So, in short, we will travel to the world of sociology. While understanding various sociological perspectives, we will apply them to our real conditions of life, our social environment in which we live. So, we will be doing a kind of sociological analysis of the events happening around us. And this will also ensure that our sociology syllabus is getting completed for various competitive exams, including UPSC, civil services, UPPCS, MPPCS, and it will also be helpful for those who are intending to do NET JRF. So there will be different topics which will be covered and short videos will be made on them. And we will also be doing book reviews and analysis of relevant newspaper articles. So this will help us in developing our own perspective to look at the events happening around us. And this will ensure that we actually move towards doing sociology rather than merely studying it. Okay, so I hope that we will evolve in sociology while we travel along in this journey. So let me come to sociology. Sociology is actually, many people think, is what we do in our day-to-day life, is actually the subject matter of it. It's more like common sense. But in reality, sociology is very much different from that. So, as Peter Berger has said, that sociology is actually about the excitement of finding the familiar becoming transformed in its meaning. That is, we will take up subject matters from our daily lives and then we will understand their meanings and we will be doing their sociological analysis. Alright? So, sociology, as you may be knowing, is a study of society. A study of society, that is, social relations, social structure, social function, and the overall social system. Okay, so we will take up these topics as we move on in this lecture series. You may be knowing sociology is a very recent discipline which emerged recently in 20th century itself, and it has a lot to do with what was happening in Europe, okay, of that time, the social changes that were happening, there in the European society actually led to the emergence of sociology. So, various events happened, for example, Enlightenment, French Revolution, Industrial Revolution. They produced certain social conditions which were observed by various scholars, and that led to the emergence of the discipline of sociology. So, Enlightenment caused social revolution in thinking. It led to the development of rational thinking. People started questioning. So when they questioned, tried to find answers. They were actually doing various kind of analysis, and one of the thing was sociological analysis in that as well. Coming to French Revolution, it actually led to political revolution, and this led to the emergence of state, social contract. You must have heard the names of Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau. They all made several observations in relation to the relationship between the state and civil society. Then we had Industrial Revolution. It influenced the economic system. It led to the emergence of various themes. I'm calling them themes because we'll be studying them in detail, and they had a lot of various repercussions on society. Urbanization, capitalism, industrialization, and these all had profound impact on the emergence of sociology. You must be aware that emergence of sociology, and particularly we say that modernization in Europe and how it led to the emergence of sociology, this which we will actually be doing in detail in in an upcoming lecture. But before that, you just get a sense of where sociology is emerging from. Okay, so sociology broadly can be seen that it deals with what it has a particular subject matter which it studies. According to Emile Durkheim, Emile Durkheim is one of the very famous founding fathers of sociology. Emile Durkheim, a French philosopher, French sociologist, French scholar, thought that sociology is having a very broad subject matter, broad scope. It deals with social morphology, social physiology, and general sociology. What social morphology actually looks into is geographical territorial basis of life of people, population, volume, density. It is mostly having overlaps with demography. You must have heard of this name. Demography is the study of population. Okay? Demography is the study of population, its composition, its nature, size, and so on. Social physiology is more uh, concerned with abstract aspects. It deals with sociology of religion, morals, and economic life, and specifically one very important concept which we will take up in details in another upcoming lecture, that is social facts. Social facts. And then he talks about something known as general sociology, which attempts to understand a general character of social facts that will help in finding out what social laws. All right. So subject matter of sociology actually covers the nature, type, function, relations in society. Okay, so before we move on, let's look at some of the basic characteristics of sociology. What actually makes sociology different from other disciplines and particularly from common sense. So, sociology, the very basic understanding of its character, I could found through this scholar called Robert Bierstein. Robert Bierstein, in his book The Social Order, has talked about some particular characteristics of sociology. He says that sociology is actually a social science, it's not a natural science. It's a categorical positive science, it's not a normative science. That is, it doesn't talk about what is right, what is wrong. Rather, it talks about what actually a thing is, what is, why it is, how it is. It doesn't focus on the rightness or wrongness of any happening around us. Okay, so it focuses on explanations and analysis. We will talk about it in more detail when we talk about sociology as a science. So it talks about how sociology has humans as its main subject matter, but they have their own independent rational thinking. But for and they are not like matter, which doesn't think, and matter is something with which natural sciences deal with. Sociology is a pure or a theoretical science. It's not an applied science, but this point has its certain limitations for it, because it can be also used to find implications of things. When we do policy analysis, social impact assessments, there sociology becomes a very handy tool. Then sociology is an abstract science. It's not a concrete science. It's very clear that social relations are not something which we can touch or see. This is something which can be observed. It is abstract in nature. The social structure, it's not seen that various, say, castes are separated by, say, concrete boundaries. No, they are manifested in our relations. So, sociology is what? An abstract science and not a concrete science. Okay? It's a generalizing science, not a particularizing science. This is particularly uh, important when we talk about history. History takes up a particular event, say, revolt of 1857, or any particular tribal revolt. But sociology is generalizing in nature. It will talk about peasant movements, peasant struggles, and will try to find out overall the nature of things happening, what forces led to such events, what were the effects of such events, but not in a particularizing sense, but in a generalizing sense. Furthermore, it's both a rational science, because explanations won't come out of our traditions or religious explanations, but out after a scientific study. And this forms a core of sociological study. It has logical explanations. So, sociology is rational and it's an empirical science because it deals with something which is observable. It won't take up questions of, say, soul or Atma or whether God exists or not. No, it won't take, but it will try to understand how that conception of God has an effect on the way social relations are being shaped. So, sociology is actually based on the conception that seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. This is actually a definition of a concept called empiricism. Empiricism. So, sociology is both rational as well as an empirical science. In short, it's a social science, it's a categorical science, it's a positive science based on scientific study, it's a pure theoretical science, abstract, generalizing, rational, and empirical. It's not a natural science, it's not a normative, it's not concrete, and it's not particularizing in nature. Further, let's look at importance of sociology. So, sociology actually makes a scientific study of society. It studies roles of institutions in the development of the individuals. For example, how family, school, religion, caste, how they all shape an individual personality, his social or her social environment. Okay, so it tries to understand the role of institutions in the development of individuals. Sociology has an important role in understanding and planning society. So it's very important in policy making and analysis. Okay, it also helps to find solution to social problems. It draws our attention to how worthy and in that humans are and their dignity also. So it will take up several human rights issues. It will talk about humanism, equality, and such other values. Then it also makes contributions to enrich human culture, because when our understanding increase, then there will definitely be enrichment of human culture. It helps in finding solution to several international problems, and as a profession also, sociology is an important discipline. Apart from teaching, which is often seen as the obvious and only a profession associated with sociology, but it is not true, because sociologists have role not only in social analysis of things, it helps in policy making. It is one of the very popular discipline taken as optional subject in various competitive exams. It is also criteria for several jobs such as program officers. Uh, in UP we have a position called Child Development Project Officer. There also sociology is one of the requirements. So sociology as a profession also holds importance. Then briefly let me talk about the scope of sociology. Some people say that it is very formalistic in nature and has defined defined boundaries of its subject matter. For example, scholars such as Simmel, Max Weber, they say that sociology is a specialized science. It deals with social action according to Max Weber, and Simmel says that sociology has a particular way of looking at things. But there is another school which is known as synthetic school. It talks about sociology has a lot of dimensions which it can study to understand social reality. We talked about Durkheim, how he talks about different branches of sociology, which considers morphology, demographics, physiology, and general sociology. Hobhouse also has similar kind of view as similar to Durkheim, and Sorokin also second their view that sociology has a broad scope. It deals with social aspect, political aspect, economic aspects, and to make a holistic understanding of society. As far as present condition of sociology is concerned, its scope is broad. It actually borrows from many disciplines and has moved on to incorporate interdisciplinary studies in its fold. So this was about the scope of sociology. We talked about its nature, its characteristics, its subject matter. Before we move on to close this discussion, let me briefly tell you about some of the references which one can use for basic understanding of sociology. These are NCERT class 11th and these are NCERT class 12th books. And these two are even more important to be studied. After understanding the basic concepts, they give us overall idea about the social structure and change in India. This is Sociology Themes and Perspectives by Haralambous and Heald. This is Fundamentals of Sociology by Vidya Bhushan and D.R. Sachdeva. This is mostly used in graduation, but it's a thick book. It has a lot of details about concepts related to sociology. This is Sociological Theory by George Ritzer. This book is one-stop solution, Essential Sociology, one-stop solution for various competitive exams like UPSC and UPPCS. So this is Essential Sociology by Nitin Sangwan. Then for Indian society specifically, we have this book by Nadeem Hasnan, Indian Society and Culture. It also has a lot of details related to sociological studies of Indian society. This is a book by Professor Yogendra Singh, Modernization of Indian Tradition. This book I have taken because caste is a very important subject in Indian sociology. This is Oxford India Short Introductions on Caste. This is written by Professor Surinder Singh Jodhka from Jawaharlal Nehru University. This is actually a one-stop and very nicely written book on caste and related studies. Okay, so we will be taking a lot more books as reference, and whatever we will be discussing in these videos will actually draw more or less from these books and various other original writings of different scholars and their views. So when the topics will come, we will take up their analysis. So, this is all for today. If you have any particular questions or queries, please feel free to post them in the comment section below. Uh, Till then, take care. Bye bye.